This is the Qtv Nightly News, which is also on Q Radio 103.3 FM. And I am Mamna Buka. Thank you for joining us. Here are the headlines. Following the death of 27-year-old Omar Baji, who lost his life in Mandinari during a police incident on September 26, 2025, Chief Justice Hassan B. Jallow ordered a coroner's inquest to establish the circumstances surrounding his death. At an international forum in Istanbul, Turkey, on Sunday, the clerk of the Gambia's National Assembly, Khalifa M. Mbaye, highlighted major strides in parliamentary digitization and citizen engagement in the Gambia. The Convention of African People has concluded in the Gambia, bringing together writers, artists, and scholars from across the continent and the diaspora in a powerful gathering focused on identity, culture, and self-representation. The Gambia Center for Victims of Human Rights Violations, commonly referred to as the Victim Center, today commenced a 4-day capacity building training for National Assembly members on the African Union's Transitional Justice Policy and the government white paper on the TRRC recommendations. The Chinese Embassy in the Gambia, working together with the University of the Gambia's Confucius Institute, celebrated Chinese Language Day on Monday and awarded Chinese government scholarships to 40 UTG students. This and more coming ahead. Do stay with us. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, following the death of 27-year-old Omar Baji, who lost his life in Mandinari during a police incident on September 26, 2025, Chief Justice Hassan B. Jallow ordered a coroner's inquest to establish the circumstances surrounding his death. Usman Jatta has the latest.
Following the death of 27-year-old Omar Baji, who lost his life in Mandinari during a police incident on September 26, 2025, Chief Justice Hassan B. Jallow ordered a coroner's inquest to establish the circumstances surrounding his death. A coroner is a government or judicial official responsible for investigating sudden, suspicious, violent or unexplained deaths. In this case, the inquest was conducted at the Brikama Magistrates Court and presided over by Principal Magistrate Anna O. Mendy, was initiated after an application by the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice. According to a press release issued today, April the 20th, 2026, the coroner found that Omar Baji died from an acute brain injury caused by physical exertion, stress, and assault by police officers during a law enforcement operation. The court had testimony from 12 witnesses, reviewed a post-mortem report, and visited the scene before delivering its verdict, which pointed to the involvement of police officers in the circumstances leading to his death. Baji's death had earlier sparked protests in Mandinari and Lamen, with police initially putting out a statement maintaining that Baji collapsed while fleeing, while eyewitnesses and family members alleged he had been assaulted. The coroner has recommended that the matter be referred to the Director of Public Prosecutions for consideration of criminal charges against the officers involved. Chief Justice Jallow has endorsed the findings and forwarded the report to the Attorney General and the DPP for further action, reaffirming the judiciary's commitment to accountability and justice. The Gambia Police Force has not responded, and we shall keep the public informed as the case develops. Osman Jatta, Qtv News.
The clerk of the Gambia's National Assembly, Khalifa M. Mbaye, has highlighted major strides in parliamentary digitization and citizen engagement in the Gambia at an international forum in Istanbul, Turkey on Sunday. Ali Sise reports.
Speaking at the meeting of the Association of Secretaries General of Parliament on the sideline of the 152nd Interparliamentary Union Assembly, he outlined how innovation is transforming the work of the Gambia's legislature.
One of the earliest and of course most impactful reform involved the modernization of a Hansard, just as highlighted by my colleague from the House of Commons. That's Hansard reporting system. Historically, as we all know in Parliament, the production of official parliamentary records represented a major administrative bottleneck. This has been a major challenge from Parliament to Parliament. The preparation and, of course, printing of transcript often took several months in our own case, meaning that by the time the public record became available, parliamentary debate has already faded from national discourse.
He informed his colleagues that the National Assembly is working to expand citizen participation through a digital stakeholder submission portal, allowing the public to remotely contribute to legislative processes.
Concerted efforts are currently underway to fully institutionalize a digital stakeholder submission portal, where we will encourage public to make submission through a digital platform rather than the usual manual submission of petitions or, of course, submissions to Parliament. Traditionally, stakeholder engagement relied primarily on physical consultation, as I highlighted, which often limited participation to travel costs, logistical constraints from citizens. The proposed digital platform, which is a major project for us, will allow stakeholders to submit memoranda electronically through an online submission platform, verified institutional email channels, and, of course, moderated digital engagement platform. This is a project that we are currently rolling out. This innovation will effectively, with no doubt, transform the legislative process from a largely top-down consultation model into a more participatory and, of course, inclusive bottom-up engagement framework.
Mr. Mbai said the live streaming of parliamentary sessions has widened access. To further boost accountability, he revealed that plans are underway to introduce a ministerial digital response tracker to monitor government compliance with parliamentary recommendations. Despite these advances, the clerk acknowledged challenges such as digital exclusion, especially in rural areas. To address this, he said the parliament is complementing digital tools with radio programs in local languages. He concluded by emphasizing that innovation in parliament is not just about technology, but about building trust between institutions and citizens. Reporting for Qtv News, I am Aliou Cisse.
The Convention of African People has concluded in the Gambia, bringing together writers, artists and scholars from across the continent and the diaspora in a powerful gathering focused on identity, culture and self-representation. Julian Jaya has the rest of the details.
The two-day gathering focused on African identity, history, literature and arts, with participants discussing how culture continues to shape identity and how African voices can gain greater visibility in global conversations. Participants explored common challenges and expressed a strong interest in cultural connection and collaboration. The event was organized by the Harambee Organization of Black Unity, which is inspired by the work of Malcolm X, an African-American civil rights leader and human rights activist who played a major role in the struggle for Black empowerment in the United States during the 1950s and 1960s. He was assassinated in 1965 in New York City at the age of 39, but he remains one of the most influential figures in Black history and in global discussions on justice, identity, and resistance to oppression. Dr. Kehinde Andrews, chair of the Harambee Organization of Black Unity, highlighted the importance of building stronger intellectual and cultural links between Africans on the continent and those in the diaspora.
I just got in a whole load of beef before I came here for suggesting that we needed to be more connected to the continent. There's a whole thing in the diaspora, not everybody, but certainly some people who are trying to not be African, right? Are trying to run away from being African rather than trying to come back to Africa, right? And it's really devastating to see. So this is part of the major reason we said let's do an event for Malcolm's birthday on the continent, was that we wanted to really bring the two together, right? There's a quote that Malcolm says, he says, Africa will go no further than we will in the diaspora, and the diaspora will go no further than Africa will. We're one people, we have one bond, we're in one boat, we should be going together. So that's really what we're trying to do today here, is to follow in that footsteps, follow in that legacy, and to build on from there.
Throughout the sessions, speakers raised concern about long-standing external portrayals of Africa and called for more locally driven storytelling through writing, film, music, and education. The emphasis remained on reclaiming narrative space and strengthening cultural confidence. Here is Janaba Debi Bagayoko, the events coordinator.
Our sponsors are APS as well as the Muslim Power Building Project. I love seeing the partners and our sponsors because we are showing that African people can support each other. There's always this myth that black solidarity doesn't exist, but black people do show up for one another. And to see a lineup like this, where it's all black and African people, institutions, and organizations coming together, that is testament to our unity.
A major feature of the program was the West Africa Road Residency, which followed creatives traveling from Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, and Senegal to the Gambia, documenting people, places, and experiences along the journey. On Sunday, many of those who took part in this recounted their journey, including the heights and the lows. The convention also featured cultural performances by students of the Gambia Academy and local artists, bringing music and performance into the wider conversation on culture and identity. The gathering closed on Sunday with participants expressing the importance of continued collaboration and exchange with a shared focus on strengthening African perspectives in storytelling and cultural expression. The day featured another diverse mixture of presentations, poetry, music, and more, and ended on a high with a musical performance by Gambian siblings Barhama and Mariama Cham. Reporting for QTV News, I am Julden Yai.
The Gambia Center for Victims of Human Rights Violations, commonly referred to as the Victim Center, on Monday commenced a 4-day capacity building training for National Assembly members on the African Union's Transitional Justice Policy and the government white paper on the TRRC recommendations. Mamoudou Gajaga has more.
This training brought together more than 20 National Assembly members and focuses on areas such as overview of the Victim Center, introduction to transitional justice in Africa, and in-depth analysis of the government white paper. Mohamed Sandeng, acting board chair of the Victim Center, spoke about the significance of the event.
From 2017 to date, the Victim Center, as part of its activities, continued to register and document human rights violations and abuses, conducts outreach activities to build the capacity of victims and communities on the various ongoing transitional justice processes, as well as participation in the monitoring of the TRRC recommendations by the government. In addition, Mr. Chairman, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Victim Center has since its inception in 2017 been providing 3 very essential services to registered victims and their families. These services include medical support, educational support, and psychosocial support services.
The timing of the training is crucial after the TRRC concluded its investigations of human rights violations of the Yahya Jammeh era, which produced a detailed report with recommendations for prosecution, reparations, and institutional reform. The government then issued a white paper accepting most of these recommendations, including reparations to victims, which has been slow despite some significant efforts. Yadikon Eribo Njai is the chairperson of the Association of Non-Governmental Organizations, Tango.
Your active engagement is essential to ensure that commitments made to victims and to the nation are translated into concrete action, policies, and measurable outcomes. The urgency of this process cannot be overstated.
As the legislative arm of government responsible for enacting laws and oversight functions, the National Assembly plays a crucial role in the transitional justice process and ensure that the TRRC recommendations, one of which is reparations for victims, is implemented by government. Buba E.M. Jatta, the Deputy Clerk of the National Assembly, spoke on behalf of the lawmakers.
Transitional justice is an essential mechanism for institutional transformation and the consolidation of the rule of law. It is not a retrospective exercise in grievance, but a prospective strategy to strengthen democratic resilience and prevent the recurrence of systematic human rights violations.
Immaculada Roca I. Cortez, the European Union ambassador to the Gambia, says significant progress in confronting the events of the past has been achieved. However, she says a lot more needs to be done. The Gambia's path towards lasting peace and justice is now firmly in the domain of its elected representatives. How they use this knowledge to legislate, allocate resources, and hold government accountable will be the next major test for the country's commitment to never again return to its painful past. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News.
That story by Mamudu Gajaga will take us on a commercial break. When we return, we have more national news stories. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is the QTV Nightly News, and I am Mamna Buka. China's embassy in the Gambia, in collaboration with the University of the Gambia's Confucius Institute, marked Chinese Language Day on Monday. During the event, 40 UTG students were awarded Chinese government scholarships, underscoring the deepening educational and cultural ties between the Gambia and China. Here's Usman Jata again.
Held under the theme, Chinese, a bridge to mutual learning among civilizations. The event featured Chinese tea testing, cultural exhibitions and free medical outreach provided by the Chinese medical team. Observed annually on April 20th, Chinese Language Day celebrates one of the world's oldest writing systems. It honors kanji, credited with creating Chinese characters over 4,000 years ago, and coincides with Goyo, symbolizing renewal, growth and communication. Over the years, China's embassy has deepened its collaboration with the University of the Gambia through the Confucius Institute, jointly established with Goho University in China, expanding opportunities for Gambian students to study the Chinese language and culture. Vice-Chancellor Professor Herbert Robinson described the celebration as both symbolic and impactful, noting China's sustained support for education and capacity building in the Gambia.
It is a celebration of language, culture, friendship, and educational partnership. This kind gesture is far more than financial support. It is an investment in talent, aspiration, and the future of young Gambians. It is also a powerful symbol of friendship and solidarity between the two countries.
For many students, the Confucius Institute has opened doors to new opportunities academically and internationally. Shi Mingying is the director of the Confucius Institute at the University of the Gambia.
Here in Gambia, more and more young people are getting closer to China and understanding Chinese culture through the Chinese language. The Confucius Institute is not only a custom for language learning, but also a window for cultural exchanges.
Among the 40 University of the Gambia students awarded scholarships is Omar K.B. Samora, a second-year political science student.
We will work hard and ensure that this investment makes a meaningful impact, not only in our lives, but in our communities and national development as well.
China's Ambassador Liu Jin was the guest of honor at the event.
We welcome and support Gambian friends to learn Chinese, understand China, and visit China. We will also introduce Gambian's culture to the Chinese people through various of channels, promote exchange among civilizations, and work together to build communities with a shared future for mankind.
The event concluded with renewed commitment from both sides to expand educational cooperation, promote cultural exchange, and strengthen the long-standing friendship between the Gambia and China through continued academic partnerships and student development opportunities. Osman Jata, QTV News.
Remit Choice Money Transfer on Saturday presented an Umrah package and an iPhone 17 Pro Max to the winners of its recent promotional campaign. Here is Yafatuge.
Ibrahima Sane was announced as the grand prize winner of the Umrah package, while Tijan Malik Moob received the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Both prizes were accepted on behalf of the winners by family members. Dembo Sane received the prize for Ibrahima Sane, while Keba Mbub accepted the iPhone on behalf of Tijan Malik Mbub.
We are truly grateful as a family to receive such an award. We are deeply grateful to Allah and to Remit Choice for making this happen To be honest, the first time my brother called me and they informed me about this package, we were not 100% sure. But then I think the manager was on him calling and calling. Then I have to even contact the manager at Casa Africa, and then they assured me that this event will hold. So
we are very grateful to Remit Choice for this recognition. Their service is fast, reliable, and easy to use, and it continues to make sending and receiving money much more convenient for families like ours.
Ali Haidara, country manager for Remit Choice, The Gambia, said the occasion was not only to distribute prizes, but also to recognize customer loyalty and strengthen relationships.
At Remit Choice Money Transfer, we believe in rewarding trust, empowering communities, and bringing families closer together across the globe. This evening, we celebrate people who make that possible. You, our loyal customers.
Babukar Saho, Deputy Executive Officer of the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, noted that remittances have always and continue to play an important role in supporting families and communities across the Gambia.
Today in the Gambia, remittances are inching towards $900 million, about 12 point something percent from 2024. And many will look at this and see it as a service for a transaction. But I believe it's more than that. Because every dalasi that is delivered to where it rightfully belongs is beyond a service.
Remit Choice, the Gambia country manager, Ali Haidara, has announced plans for new promotional campaign ahead of Tabaski, which is scheduled to be launched on April 28. Remit Choice, founded in 2019 and headquartered in the United Kingdom, is a global money transfer service operating in over 70 countries. The company focuses on providing fast, secure and affordable remittance solutions, allowing members of the diaspora to send money to families and communities in the Gambia and other destinations worldwide. It positions itself as a digital-first platform offering mobile and online transfer services designed to simplify cross-border payments. Users can send funds directly to bank accounts, mobile wallets, or for cash pickup, depending on the destination network. Reporting for QTV News, this is Yafatu Gay.
The African Migration Observatory under the African Union has launched a 2-day capacity building training for officials of the Gambia Immigration Department aimed at strengthening migration data and information management. Yafatu Gay again.
The training comes as the country faces increasing pressure from irregular migration, alongside its role as a key transit hub for citizens and non-citizens alike. It brings together officers from the Immigration Department, the frontline agency responsible for monitoring the movement of people entering and leaving the country. The initiative is designed to strengthen skills in data collection, analysis, and management, essential components for responding effectively to evolving migration trends. Representing the Director General of the Gambia Immigration Department, Amat Salah, officer in charge, Migration Management Unit, stated that strengthening officers' capacity is essential for effective national planning and security.
This workshop comes at a crucial time as it provides a platform to strengthen collaboration mechanisms among institutions, improve data sharing mechanisms, and enhance our information management systems.
Senior statistician at the Gambia Bureau of Statistics, Buba Jadama, highlighted the urgent need for stronger investment in data and information management.
In the Gambia, we have made important progress in strengthening our migration statistics. Through the 2024 Population and Housing Census, we expanded our coverage of migration and related indicators, including internal migration, international migration, as well as return migration. We also working to strengthen the integration of administrative and survey data to improve evidence-based for policy making.
Ambassador Dr. Namira Nim, Director of the African Migration Observatory, stressed the need for Africans to take ownership of and effectively manage their own migration data.
We are the youngest continent and we will remain the youngest continent until 2050, which means the mobility will increase, and the mobility will increase if we don't have good development, we'll have conflicts. Then countries who are stable will face more challenges in order to address migration needs.
Kebam Fali Dabo, Principal Assistant Secretary at the Ministry, expressed appreciation to the African Union for the support.
This workshop therefore provides a valuable platform to strengthen institutional and technical capacities, enhance their interagency collaboration, and to promote a more coordinated and harmonized approach to migration data and information management in the Gambia.
The African Migration Observatory plays a central role in addressing migration data gaps across the continent. Its work focuses on collecting, harmonizing and disseminating reliable migration data to support informed decision-making at national, regional and continental levels. Reporting for QTV News, this is Yafat Gay.
That's all we have for this news bulletin. Join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. for another bulletin. Thanks for watching.